Good morning, my friends. This is the Grimflayer, and I hope you are all doing very well today. We are here to play our first league, our first competitive league, our first games at all, actually, with the May list. You can see the link in the description below for my updated deck tech regarding that, but we are playing a couple new pieces from War of the Spark. We're playing Ashiok Dreamrender and Liliana's Triumph, both one-ofs in the sideboard. While we begin loading into our first match here, I would like to thank not any new Patreons, because we don't have any in the last day and a half or so since I made my previous video. I would like to thank the original Patreons, the ones that joined up within the first month of me starting all this stuff up. So thank you so much once again to some of the oldest supporters here. We have SV Kovic, Robbie Taylor, Remy Marchiat, Teddy Kaiser, Last Air Games. There are others. I had to stop it somewhere, but those are, I believe, the original 5 that are with us. So thank you so much, my friends. I truly appreciate all Patreon support, especially you. So couldn't do it without you. We are going to keep this hand. It's a really nice one in a blind game 1. Notably lacking a threat. However, Liliana on the play can hopefully... We can make this a Liliana game. We will see what the opponent's up to, of course. Alright, it's Valakut. Right off the bat, it's Valakut. Well, that's very annoying. I'm just going to take their turn 1 play here. However, you know, that's one of the main draws to Ashiok, so at least we have Ashiok going for us, right? Okay, so they play out their Valakut. Blooming Marsh is not a very exciting draw, except, you know, kind of allowing us a free pitch, I suppose, to a Liliana tick-up. Okay, so they have gone Forest. Let's make sure they're using the same art. Into Elder. And yeah, we're not drawing much, so it's definitely just Liliana tick up, ignoring their board, trying to run them out of resources to the best of our ability. In here, we'll pitch Marsh over Swamp in case we need the 4th mana next turn for some reason. Definitely always annoying to run into the Scapeshift deck, or the Titanshift deck right away in a competitive league, it being our worst tiered matchup and all. So here comes Courser, I assume, because they pitched a Sakura Tribe Elder last turn. They have a Scapeshift on top. Okay. So they're pressuring the Liliana. And Courser is a bit of an issue, but it's really going to depend on our draw step here, what our best course of action is. Another land, jeez. Okay, well, I'm actually wondering how good it is to Edict with the Lily here. Because if we go, like, they haven't actually ramped yet. So if we go Liliana, Edict you, and they just sack their Sakura Tribe Scout, we play another Liliana and Edict again. I mean, then we're not really progressing toward a win condition, but we can't progress toward our win condition right now when they have 2 creatures on field, both of which can ramp them. So I think we're actually supposed to go on kind of the Edict plan here. So if they sack their Courser to the Liliana, then we just play our other Liliana and tick up, because the 1/1 can't pressure us that well. If they sack the Sakura Tribe Elder, then we just, I guess, have a double Edict turn. Definitely seems suboptimal, but You do things like that in matchups like this, I guess. They're sacking in response to our edict. Alright, that's kind of perfect for us, so now we get to actually have our cake and eat it too. We've cleared out their board, and we've got a Liliana who they need to answer potentially. And they pick you prime time. Sure, so, alright. Explorer seems good. Farseek seems good. They're hitting the ramp, that's for sure. Okay, so that, I believe the last card in their hand is Escape Shift, right? So let's just empty our hand and tick up. We'll trophy away the Valakut. Oh, Primeval Titan, what did they shuffle? Okay, so they've got a card in hand. Or draw a Fatal Push. Doesn't do much, we tick up. They slow rolled that land instead of playing it. Alright, well, we've got a lot of fuel for the use here. It's a surprisingly relevant threat at the moment. But perhaps more importantly, we have the Liliana at alt threshold. They rip Sakura Tribe Elder, sure. So we're just alting with Lily here. Thoughtseize, yeah, I mean, triple Stone Rain should be good enough to win this game. Alright. Cool. We beat Titanshift, and I think it was because our opponent sacked in response to our edict. I don't think they wanted to give us that window. You know, I understand in some ways why they did, but certainly played into our hands with our second Liliana to follow up, so I will certainly take it, my friends. Not a bad way to start things off, but let's see if we can close out the series. So we, of course, still want Fulminator Mage as kind of the top billing here for us. Surgical Extractions are pretty good. And Ashiok, the new tech, is pretty good as well. Liliana's Triumph actually might be interesting. I'll put it in the maybe board category here with stuff like Pulse and Deathmark. I think we do want the Collective Brutality. So we actually have a fair amount of things we're interested in, these 7 for sure. And in terms of what comes out, we'll just probably cut all pushes here. Cut an Abrupt Decay. Again, some targets for this stuff, but Liliana the Last Hope can go pretty freely, and then what do we think about making room for all of these 3 things? Liliana's Triumph is interesting. I think I like it because we've got the upside of the 2-for-1, or just of like the draw step discard if we have a Liliana around, which is really good against their deck. Gives us an out to their like mid-rangey style sideboard cards that, you know, like Tireless Track or Obstinate Bailoff. We saw Courser of Truffix. I think I'm going to try it out. So, we cut a Scooz, we cut a Tracker. I mean, maybe Deathmark and Maelstrom Pulse are just better. I haven't played with this card before. I don't know how to rate it. Trying to see if there's anything else I don't really like. Maybe... Let's just run it like this. Oh, no, no, no. I submitted 61. Oh, no, we submitted 61. Okay, well... I was going to say we're a little bit... Or did we? Was my client just lagging? I don't know. Still too early. I haven't had enough coffee yet. That was a bit of a mess, wasn't it? So, I was going to say, if that's the case, we're maybe a little land shy, but this is quite the opposite problem. We've got a mulligan this hand. Okay, opponent keeping 7, not a great sign. We will mull. We've got to keep this one. And it's either Bob or Goyf that we bottom. I guess we just bottom a Bob here. Our mana's awkward either way. There might be an argument for just bottoming the Tarmogoyf, but with our Inquisition, if the play is to take away a removal spell like Lightning Bolt, we can do that quite easily. Alright, well, we might not have our spells on curve, but we'll have them this game at least. Yep, they do indeed have the answer to a Bob, but they also have Lightning Bolt. In the form of Lightning Bolt, rather. They also have a Tireless Tracker. We don't have an answer to Tracker, and that's a card that can just beat us, like, by itself. So that's gotta be our take. It's a pretty solid hand that they have, considering how clunky our hand is, how we're on the play here. How we're not on the play, rather. And Field of Ruin allows us to go Bob here, but Bob just gets bolted. So I think it's a better play to just run out the Quagmire. Fulminator Mage next turn. If we had had a green source on turn 1 here, I think I would have played the Goyf and then taken my chances on hopefully drawing another untapped land for the turn 3 Fulminator, but okay, they've got a Courser. That's quite nice. There's nothing we can really do about it, so... And they're still representing Lightning Bolt. Another Dark Confidant's a bit of an awkward draw here. Fulminator's the only play that really makes sense. And I think here we can pass. Yeah, they're going to bolt it. I thought they might, so that's really nice for us. It gives us kind of a little bit of hope. However, we are not in good shape. Especially not that they keep having lands on their top here. Surgical Extraction, huh? Not a very good window for the card. And we can only play one spell this turn, so I guess we're just playing Goyf here. Yeah, pretty clunky progression. Don't think we're coming away with the win this time. Oh, all the value. All the courser value. Alright, we might need to draw like Thoughtseize or something. Yeah, Maelstrom Pulse. Not so great, but I suppose we're pretty priced into doing this because all the ETB triggers off Courser and all of that. This is going to grow the Goyf too. We just gotta kind of hope to top deck another answer and race, but odds of that are relatively low. But if we do, we've got Surgical to take all of them out of the deck. Okay, 3 to the face. Back to us. Ashiok Dreamrender. Oh, just a little bit too late. Just a little too late. I don't even know if we play her because I think we're just kind of dead here. No matter what we do. Like, if we play her, we shut off their searches, right? Then they just attack with Primeval Titan. They get a couple more lands, they get a couple more triggers, and they have a 6/6 Trampler. So I think our best bet is actually to just pass and hold up Hissing Quagmire, but we're just dead. We also don't expose that we're playing Ashiok this way. For whatever that's worth. We could play a couple Bobs too, but again, they just kind of... Then the Titan freely attacks, they get the free triggers. Another Valakut out of hand is pretty good. And they have Scapeshift, another Titan, yeah, sure. Okay. Alright. Fair enough. That's the matchup sometimes, and we're just lucky we got the game 1. So here in game 3... You know, the Liliana's Triumph, it is another, like, clean answer to an empty board with Titan. They're playing Tracker, they're playing Courser. Am I crazy for wanting to bring this in? I think I do. I think I want it. And the problem is what to cut. We gotta make 2 cuts, of course. I think I can move away from another Tracker without losing too much sleep, and I almost want to move away from Kalidas, but maybe that is just too few threats to actually end the game. So I mean, we might be a little bit too reactive here. That might just be the case. I'm just going to play with only one Maelstrom Pulse, though. We're going to try the Triumph over the Pulse. Alright, let's see if we can get there. We've got a lot of interesting things going on. Thoughtseize into Bob. with a death mark. This is a keep. It's very painful. Very, very painful. But that only kind of matters in this matchup. Oh boy. Explore, Farseek, Lightning Bolt, Search for Tomorrow. Well, this isn't good, so we can take away one of their 3 ramp spells. Or we can just take the Bolt. I guess we're just kind of supposed to take the Bolt here. That's a tough hand for us to beat. It's pretty Thoughtseize proof. All the ramp they could ever want. Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf dies to Lightning Bolt just like Dark Confidant does, and for the upcoming turn, Goyf is probably going to be at most a 3-4 after they have their turn. So I'm going to run out the Bob here. There are other situations in which Goyf would make more sense, but opponent with the Explorer into a Cinderglade. Alright, Bob, show us the way. Surgical Extraction. Well, if they expose that Valakut, this could be good. But for now, it is just Goyf, Quagmire, Search for Tomorrow resolves. Farseek, yep. We've got so many live draws here. We're looking for, obviously, Fulminator is really nice here. But yeah, they've successfully ramped to 6 without having to expose their Valakut. We could draw Ashiok. We draw Fulminator. I'll take it. I will take it. I'm going to do it now just to grow the Goyf, basically. Alright, so Treetop Village is lethal, so that's our play. See what the opponent's got for us. This is intense. I wonder... Okay, they expose Valakut. It's potentially pretty good for us. Sakura Tribe Elder. Alright. So we won't have lethal this turn either way, it appears. Well, we might. Let's just see what we draw. Alright, we draw Inquisition. That might actually be a really good draw. Because, okay, so let's say we shock in an Overgrown Tomb to get another untapped black mana. We can Inquisition, clear the way, we can Deathmark the Elder, and then just swing for lethal. if we see some reason that we won't have lethal anyway, like if they bolt our Bob in response, then we can field the Valakut and extract all Valakuts in their draw step. Okay, so I guess either way, the thing to do is lead on Inquisition. Primeval Titan and Scapeshift. Alright. Deathmark your Elder. Attack you for exactly 9. How about that, guys? How about that? That was a that was obviously really close because they had the 2 payoffs in hand. But that was cool, very cool to beat down Titanshift. No Ashiok needed. No Ashiok needed. She would have been really nice there, though. That was another one of our live draws. Like, can you imagine if we just had Ashiok there, then they just have both those cards in hand, their Titan just becomes a 6/6 trample with no ETB, which obviously is pretty good, but we could have deathmarked it, and then Scapeshift is totally dead, so could have been cool, and we did see her. She did make an appearance, but we were already too far behind in Game 2 for her to matter, but we got there the old-fashioned way with Discard and Bob and Goyf and Fulminator Mage. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So, as bad as this matchup is, it's definitely not unwinnable. My record in leagues might actually be about positive against Titanshift. I do remember being on the right side of variance for some of them, but look, our opponent kept 7 all 3 games here. And they kept like a really, really good 7 here in Game 3 specifically. 3 lands, 3 ramp spells, and a lightning bolt is just about what you want. And we had a good curve too, and we got there. So, good stuff, my friends. Good stuff. Let's go here to round 2. Winning the die roll. Yeah, we keep this for sure. Needs a 3rd land. Obviously, a green one is pretty preferred here, but we've got Thoughtseize into Bob on the play. Hope we're not against Burn. Opponent will mulligan. Oh boy. Okay. This would be what looks like 8-rec. I mean, this is a tough one for sure because their discard spells are the only things that are castable, right? But the rest of their hand is absolutely gross against us. Like, obviously, Confidant itself is really good. Smallpox is completely backbreaking because we're going to do turn 2 Bob here. And Liliana the Last Hope is insane. I think we actually have to take the Smallpox, though. Just let them have their discard. But that is quite terrifying, to be honest. As a hand in terms of, again, how it lines up against what we're up to. So they probably take a Bob here. They just take the Lily. Okay, they're just making sure they get the Lily. That's fair. I get it. And now we just have to really lean on our Bobs here. They got a 2nd land immediately. That's a beating. So we really want... Okay, we didn't get what we wanted. I was going to say we really want removal here. If they... I mean... I think we just have to let them have the Bob. Well, the best thing was if they decide to trade with us, right? But Don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, so if we trophy away their Bob, we just give them Liliana the Last Hope mana, which is the last thing we want to do. So deciding whether to play a second Bob or a Goyf, and I think it's just a second Bob. Them getting a second land immediately was a beating, and then they flipped the third. Yikes. Well, Max punished for it. The big reason to play Goyf last turn was to have something that doesn't just die to the Last Hope here. Abrupt Decay is a good draw, though, so we decay the Last Hope, we play the Treetop, and we are racing. I believe. Or do we hold this Bob back? Yeah, as much as the Bob can be a liability, life-wise, it's actually one of our better shields against their actual win conditions, like the one they just flipped, Streaking Affliction. So I think just racing with our Bob rather than trading it off here, or leaving it back in the hopes of trading it off, right? Because they play removal, of course. Think it's better to attack. Here comes that Thoughtseize. We've got a good hand. And the opponent's got some good stuff, too. Alright, there goes Tracker. Interesting. Ooh, Liliana. Yeah. Yeah, they've got a really good curve out here. Okay. Quite annoying to not be able to fire up Treetop Village and do the rest of what we want to do. And do anything else, really. So we can trophy plus Goyf. And I guess that's the play. Just emptying our hand isn't bad here, so sure. Trophy your Bob, play our Goyf. I mean, I say emptying our hand isn't bad. It's not bad against the Liliana. It's very bad against the Shrieking Affliction and other rack effects, but that's why Liliana's very good in their deck. It kind of puts the opponent in a no-win situation if you get her at the right time in the match. Okay. Oh, another land. Not good. Well, we know they've got the field, but I guess we fire up anyway here. And we're just obviously racing them. Their Liliana's only at 1. They didn't tick her up. I'm going to hold that land. If it had any sort of utility to it, I would play it, but... Alright. Okay, Mutavault is pretty good for them. Inquisition's very bad for us, so we are just dead here. We've got to pivot to attacking the Lily. They get to block her with Mutavault. Yep, so our opponent curved out really well, and our 3 draws for these last 3 turns were basic land, fetch land, Inquisition. So we just bricked here at the end. Yep. Good game. So, pretty unlucky there. I think when we keep our opening 7 against an 8-rack opponent that mulled to 6, a lot of the time we're going to win. They hit that second land right away. And that was pretty much that. So, with the respect to what their curve showed us and what our top deck showed us. So, we are just reminding ourselves of the new tech before anything else goes on here. Don't think we want too much of it, but... So, Maelstrom Pulse, Engineered Explosives both seem good. Liliana the Last Hope to buy things back to kill their Bobs. Otherwise, I don't really know how good things like, Nile Spellbomb maybe for Raven's Crime, but they didn't show us Raven's Crime. I expect they have Davriel in the deck now. So I don't know what Davriel replaces. Maybe it is Raven's Crime. I have no idea. So maybe we won't play Spellbomb until they show us. Otherwise, I don't know how good Fulminator Mage is. Seems actually kind of reasonable. Liliana's Triumph, against all their man lands, it seems okay. Collective Brutality. Again, they're showing us Dark Confidant, so we might want that. The big question is, do we just move away from our own Lilianas of the Veil? And how much do we move away from discard? Let's look at the things that are not Liliana and not discard. I think all of our threats are good. I think all of our answers are good. So, yeah, I guess that means kind of by the process of elimination, we are moving away from Lilianas and potentially some discard spells. So, what if we go down to 1 Liliana? Maybe we just don't even play Lilianas at all here. I have no idea how to sideboard optimally against 8-rack. To be honest, it's not a matchup I ever see. So, Brutality seems good enough to come in. Maybe we just leave it as is. Yeah, Liliana's Triumph might be kind of bad without many Lilianas to speak of. And we're playing our full 6 discard spells. I don't know how good that is, but... Let's get a Fulminator in here. All right. Yeah, so this is clearly a matchup I need to figure out what the best bet is, but and are we supposed to take the draw here because they prefer to take the draw almost always? Maybe that's the case, but then again, being the 1-2 untap with the Bob first is pretty sweet. I'm not sure what to do here, but I'm gonna try to deny them the draw. So we'll say no. Yeah, pretty good hand. We'll keep. Opponent will mull. Yeah, so feel free to fill in the gaps in my knowledge here, my friends. Do you like taking the draw against 8-rack like I just did? Do you, how do you like to side? So on and so forth. Another Scooz is not that exciting, but Alright, Dark Confidant, Fatal Push, Smallpox. Well, that's a good hand against our hand. I think we just kind of have to take the Bob, though. We're certainly not going to walk out into a Smallpox here. Alright, another Swamp, huh? Inquisition's a good one for the opponent. Yeah, Tireless Tracker, as expected, will go down. So, one unknown, Smallpox, Fatal Push. And we draw Forest. Alright. Pretty happy to fire up Treetop here. And pretty happy to have traded that for a Fatal Push. They have lots of other ways to get rid of lands like Field of Ruin and... Ooh, Kalitas. Holy moly, that's a good pickup. Oh boy. Well, yeah, well, at least we can Inquisition away that Smallpox, but geez, that was a good draw for them. Play a Scooz. And to be fair, we do have two things to eat, so we can, in theory, outsize a Kalitas, but this makes a lot of our opponent's draws really good. Oh, Raven's Crime is annoying. Just going to pitch a field here. Dark Confidant. Yeah, I mean, that's a fine one, but we've got to grow our ooze this turn, I believe. It's also annoying that we can't just eat the Raven's Crime. Huh. Okay, you know what? Maybe we're supposed to eat the Raven's Crime and play a Bob. Let's do that. And we hope they brick on something good here for one turn. Thoughtseize, yeah, okay, that's good. Down goes our Scooz. No blocks. Alright. We might be in an okay spot here. Tireless Tracker. Yeah, very annoying that we just are still kind of priced into not growing our Scooz bigger than Kalitas, but I think that's the case. And it's really annoying to be just like attacking in here and then not blocking, so we're kind of treading water at best in terms of the trades, and we're just leaving the Kalitas around to attack freely, but that's what our draws have dictated, right? Bitter Blossom. Ooh, wow, interesting one. Okay, Bob flips a Maelstrom Pulse, which is annoying, but it kills Kalitas, so that's what we have to do here. And then we'll eat the Kalitas. Now, do we run the EE out on 0 to play around opposing discard? I guess we probably just do. But that's bad against, like, a rack effect. It's bad with our clues. And they already know about it anyway, right? So, I guess we just hold on to it for now. The opponent's just scooping to that. Alright, I mean, who knows what they drew, but looked like they were kind of still in it for another turn or two to me, but they disagree, and fine with me. So, how do we feel about our sideboarding having seen all of that stuff, including now seeing Kalitas and Bitter Blossom? Some scary stuff, but to be fair, we have all of our removal still in, so Kalitas is what Kalitas is. Liliana's Triumph seems pretty bad against Bitter Blossom. And, you know, as we can see, they can play without many utility lands, so more Fulminator Mages might not really be in the cards. And yeah, Liliana of the Veil would have been pretty bad there in most spots, so even though I was very not confident in my sideboarding changes there for game 2, they might just be correct. I just don't know how to rate the targeted 1-mana discard here, basically, but I think I'm just going to run it back. Alright, that was an interesting game too, really was. Opponent's going to take the play. Alright, so maybe I'm just wrong about that, but either way we've got to keep. Or maybe they take it on a match-by-match basis. I don't know. They don't have turn 1 discard, though. I'm going to lead on Swamp in case they just want to Smallpox us next turn without a creature down. Alright, they have a hand of triple Dark Confidant. Well, that is a thing, I guess, but we can just kill them on curve as long as they don't draw a discard. Yeah, no need to escalate, even though we've got kind of the freedom to do so with all these extraneous lands. Should we just drain them for 2? That is the question. I don't think so. Just because, again, keeping the handful is good in this matchup, generally speaking. So we just really hope here they only have Bob as a play. They go like Mutavault, Bob, pass. Then it's a Liliana, the last hope time. Raven's Crime, sure. Abrupt Decay. Well, I would still rather play the Liliana here. Maybe should have just left that fetch uncracked because their Urborg is allowing us to have that luxury. I'll do that with my next fetch. Maybe I won't have a next fetch. Okay. Raven's Crime. Mutavault. And there's the other Mutavault. And there's another Raven's Crime, so I guess we're pitching Decay here. As annoying as that is. Field of Ruin, good draw. Good draw, good draw. Oof, Lily of the Veil. Oh my god, we're max punished for playing the field instead of the Quagmire, right? Quite annoying. And they have the freedom to fire up both Mutavaults anyway, so I'm just going to use my mana here. Take care of one of them. Gives us the best chance of having a good turn next turn, while not being as soft to Mutavault as we might otherwise be, but we just draw land. Super, super tilting. Well, we were in a good position. That Lily of the Veil, though, has changed things for the worse. No question about it. Come on, deck. The Flood right now, really, with the Flood? So we've just got to keep ticking our Lily up to extend the game here. But the Lily of the Veil about to ult is our big problem. Big, big problem. Okay, we draw Scooz. They kept a card in hand without taking up. That's interesting. I don't know what that means. But I mean, we don't even care about the Raven's Crimes right now, of course, so I guess we just pass. Really don't know what's in hand, but they're going to sack. They're going to have us sack, rather. Is there a world in which the Raven's Crimes matter from here on out? I don't really think so, so I guess I'm just going to eat all of their confidence in response. Okay, I mean, the game has been successfully extended. Treetop Village, sure. At least it's not a dead land. But looks like they have removal in hand to me. Shrieking Affliction, that's another good one. So now the race is on. Opponent just didn't activate their Liliana. So let's try to attack her. Trophy's a pretty good draw here, I believe. All right, you got me. Okay, we trophy the Lily in response here. We're pretty priced into doing that, obviously, despite Shrieking Affliction being a good target as well. And Mutavault, for that matter, an okay target. Liliana is just going to kind of stymie our rebuild. And they have a free pitch, Thoughtseize. Another Lily. Yeah, that was kind of the nightmare, right? But we couldn't really do otherwise. So we're still in trouble. Still in a lot of trouble here. And we draw Trophy. Okay. So once again we pass, and now we might be at such a low life total that we have to... Oh my god, they rip Kalitas. Really, they rip Kalitas. Yeah, we're just dead. What is the best target here? I don't know. It might even just be Kalitas now, but I think it is just Kalitas now, actually. Either way, we are not beating this clock plus Liliana. Tough way to go. Tarmogoyf. Yep, we're just dead. They edict us. We died of Vault and Shrieking Affliction. Good game. Good game. Yeah. Yeah, that first Liliana of the Veil in that particular spot is definitely what did us in there. I think we kind of had our bases covered besides that. They had, like, the progression in general was not that favorable to our last hope either. Like, her killing the Bob on curve was amazing, but the fact that they had 2 Muda Vaults early and that we didn't have threats to consider buying back meant that basically all she did was extend the game. Answered the Bob, very importantly, but then just extended the game. Now, is that fine? Yeah, that's fine. She was fine there, but the windows for their Planeswalkers proved to be a lot better than the windows for ours overall, I think. And yeah, those manlands are tough. I think this is a keep. I think this is a keep, but obviously has some issues. Caves of Kolios, Ether Vial, Eldrazi, and Taxes, huh? Okay. A bit annoying, to say the least, with how clunky our hand is, but we do have the power to outgrind them for sure. We just need we need to draw some lands, basically. Oh no, Thalia's so annoying here. Okay, Verdant Catacombs is a great draw. Great draw. So the big question is it Bob or Inquisition? I think I'm going to Inquisition here. Restoration Angel, Remorseful Cleric, Leonin Arbiter. Right now, in theory, we don't really care about either that much, but we definitely have to take the Arbiter here, in my view. That just makes, like, their top deck Path to Exiles into really, really good cards. It makes their top deck Ghost Quarters really good. Remorseful Cleric. Fatal Push is our draw. Yeah, I guess we like the push here. That lets us Liliana next turn. Alright, hope they didn't draw Flicker Wisp. Oh no, really? Eldrazi Displacer? Oh, come on. Yep. Well, that was a beating. Guess I should have done that in a response to Ether Vial, huh? Pretty unbelievable stuff, though. I think we just have to pulse away that we can't do that now. Yeah, we got either Bob or Trophy. They're both bad. Or we could just play Scoos. Just pretty bad against Eldrazi Displacer. Right, we're just in trouble. We're just in a lot of trouble. And to be fair, we would be even if I just pushed the Thalia there before they take their Vial up to 3. I guess we're just going to kill the Displacer now. It's a big beater. It's going to blow out future forms of spot removal. The big problem here is it, of course, gives them the Restoration Angel mana, but they would probably just take their Vial up to 4 anyway, right? But yeah, us not hitting land there was a beating. And not hitting land again. I mean, what are you going to do? So there's only creatures in their yard, so they can shrink our Goyf to a 1/2 by sacking their Cleric at their leisure. I guess that means Scooze is a better play here. Might as well just force them to decide whether they want to Fae in case they want to sack right now. Because with only 1 mana open against a Thalia, we're not exactly bluffing anything anyway, right? They will sack. Okay. Okay. So are we in chump block mode with the Ooze? I actually think we are, since there's nothing else for it to eat right now. So I can buy that. We'll make our Goyf bigger if that's our play next turn. Another Vial. I mean, yeah, even no matter what, just missing land drops for this long and continuing to draw clunky cards, I think no matter how we sequence here, we are not gonna be doing well in a situation like this. Yeah, we kept a clunky hand, it must be said, and we hit our 3rd land on curve, but since then the clunk has taken over. Yep, you got it. There is a land. Alright, well, I think we need to just try to Maelstrom Pulse away the Restoration Angel here. But they've got things. They've got tricks. I expect them to have one here. Another a Flicker Wisp or a Displacer. Yep. Okay. Okay. That's what the Eldrazi and Taxes deck does, no question about that. So I think we want EE to kill 2 drops and to kill Vials, which I think they're supposed to leave in against us, or they will tend to leave in against us anyway. Don't think we want the graveyard effects. Fulminator Mage can be a role player here. Their mana is clunky, of course, but I don't know whether we're going to have room for him, because I like Damnation, Liliana the Last Hope. I like Liliana's Triumph here. I think that's a good one. Collective Brutality, Deathmark. So we've got a lot of good cards to bring in. And we're probably going to start by looking at cutting a couple of targeted discard spells so we have the advantage in the grind. And you know, most of our deck is pretty good against theirs, so I don't think we're going to have room for Fulminator Mage at all. And I think we're going to have to go pretty far away from discard effects. Cutting at least 3. I guess just because we need slots, we're going to cut 1 Lily of the Veil even on the play. And we pretty clearly have to pare down on threats, I guess. To some degree. I think 1 Scooz is our first cut. Then we've still got 2 cuts to make. Okay, we're very low on discard, and that's fine, I think. You know, I think I'm going to play with either only 1 Liliana the Last Hope or only 1 Collective Brutality. And I guess on the play, we're going to leverage the card quality and the going first advantage of another Planeswalker. Then we'll see on the draw. I'm probably going to cut her on the draw, I guess. Even though she's quite good here, like we just have a lot to do. And she's one of the higher variance cards, I guess, out of all the ones that we are bringing in or considering bringing in. What's this hand? What's this hand make us want to do? I think we're just keeping it. It's clunky, but if we hit the 3rd land, we are in business. I like getting a fetch out of the way early as well for the purposes of Leonin Arbiter. And I am going to crack it here because our life total does matter. It doesn't thin our deck by that much. Thinning is quite low relevance. It's still definitely something to take advantage of when it makes sense to do so, but in this case, I'm not too worried about that. So we'll play our Goyf. Really hope to draw a land next turn, although Thoughtseize was a pretty decent draw here. Tidehollow Sculler, okay. So we're going to get our card back next turn no matter what, if we want. Well, not no matter what, we cannot actually cast Trophy with our mana. So we need that 3rd land. And there goes Thoughtseize. They're just kind of hoping we don't hit our 3rd land. Oh, the tilt. Well, I mean, maybe this was a mulligan, I don't know. But against this deck that grinds so well, mulling a really functional hand seemed bad. We're just pretty unlucky here, I think. What's it going to be next, opponent? And we're not out of it yet, but that was a big setback. Thalia, yep. Well, they're on 2 land as well, huh? Right on time, our 3rd land, right on time. We're just passing, I suppose. This trophy is now kind of especially bad because they are stuck on lands as well. But another Tidehollow Sculler. So we cannot respond to this trigger. So all we do, yeah, this is pretty clear actually, I think. We'll fetch in response, we'll trophy away Thalia, untap, and pulse the 2 Scullers. We kind of need both black and green, so I guess we just shock here. Alright, so, I mean, very, very clunky and awkward display from both decks, but we are in a spot where things might start turning our way here. Again, ramping them is very annoying, but it's the price we pay for playing the card trophy, which does give us a chance in a lot of matchups that are otherwise a lot less favorable. I continue to believe that people underrate Assassin's Trophy because it's such a feel-bad card a lot of the time. Like, here it feels so bad. It feels so bad you can only imagine how much better an Abrupt Decay would be. How much better, Fatal Push often is, things like this. But, again, Trophy is our lifeline. Lifeline against a lot of the big mana, lifeline against a lot of other things. Never dead. So Tide Hollow takes away Liliana. And now, okay, Fatal Push is a good draw, but I think Maelstrom Pulse might be a little bit better here. Ooh, you know what? I should have targeted the other one, I think, in case they path one of them in response. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a solid play. I don't mind getting the Thoughtseize back here anyway, so this is still totally fine. And I also don't mind the Skooz trade here. So, they won't take it. Yep, but, honestly, getting back the Thoughtseize is just about as good here in this situation. Wasteland Strangler. Yeah, that's really nice. Wow, that's so nice. Okay. So our Liliana of the Veil was a card that we owned in exile under the Sculler. They put that in our graveyard, which means we can't get it back by killing the Sculler, and they get to kill our Ooze. That was a really nice play. Really nice play. And Verdant Catacombs, okay draw, I suppose, but let's just Thoughtseize and see what's up. Lots of things going on, huh? Think we kind of just have to take Restoration Angel here. So then our major option would be to... I mean, we have a few good options. I think we should just... I'm sure they play a basic Swamp. That's the problem, is trying to take them off black. But nevertheless, I still kind of like doing that. And I think we're supposed to, if we're going to cast removal, I think we have to do it main phase. Like, holding both our removal spells in hand is better against their Tide Hollow Sculler, but it's worse against just erasing them. It's worse against them top decking more Restoration Angels or things like that. So I suppose, and doing all of our searching and fetching right now is pretty good too. So I suppose we're just doing all of this right now. We're going to push the Strangler. We're going to try to end the game with our Tarmogoyf. So sure enough, they do have a basic Swamp. Not entirely unexpected. This also gives us the upside of, maybe forcing them to extend without holding up effects that they may or may not draw. They might be incentivized to just kind of flood the board here. They're definitely going to lead on Sculler. They're going to get a Pulse. That's bad for us, but again. Oh, rest. Wow. Okay, well, now we're just in trouble. They top deck a Rest in Peace when we just went absolutely all in on a Tarmogoyf. Okay. Dark Confidant. Gotta play it, but we are looking bad here. Looking very bad. Opponent's got a Strangler coming down. So we're increasingly just kind of drawing toward Damnation, I guess. Yep. So good. So I don't think pulsing the other Sculler would have made much of a difference here, because we get our Liliana back. They can take her off the board fairly easily. We draw Marsh Flats, really. Okay. Okay, they violin something. We're just dead to the board. Oh, man. How brutal was that? How brutal was that? Not a fan of the way that one played out, that is for sure. They just had really good progressions both games. We had basically a debatable line in both games, but I can't see that having changed the outcome too much either way. We were... Well, I mean, if we had just passed, maybe, instead of going all in on fetch, then field, then push, then attack with the Goyf, who knows? But of course, like I said, that is worse against them, you know, drawing more Restoration Angels or similar things. We'll keep... It's a good hand. Needs a third land, of course, but on the draw we should get there. Colonnade. Okay, not our favorite deck, but we're glad they mulled. So we have resource advantage here pretty clearly. Being on the draw, not having mulled. Scooz is an underwhelming draw, though. I really just wanted to see my third land there. See if our opponent lets our Thoughtseize resolve. Force of Will's not modern legal yet. Any day now, opponent. Any day. Yeah, so I think Eldrazi and taxes the Orzhov version specifically. Depends on the build how tough it is against us. The Tidehollow Sculler Wasteland Strangler combo was really good there, but it's so clunky to execute. We disrupt every part of that so well, from the mana to the Ether Vials to the stuff in the hand to the stuff on the board. It's tough to see them consistently blowing us out like that, but they did blow us out. And I think the Taxes matchups in general are fine for us. I think we're a bit favored, but they can get very swingy. Like, they can just Arbiter plus Thalia tax us and Ghost Quarter us out of the game. Or they can have those value chains like that are just too many 2-for-1s for us to beat. Or they can just not have the stars align for them, and then our card quality just really runs them out of the game. So, pretty swingy. So what do we take here? Settle the Wreckage, Cryptic Command, Hieroglyphic Illumination. So Illumination lets them cycle. We can play around the settle, even though it's pretty good against our hand. So I guess we're just taking Cryptic. Colonnade Pass. Another Tarmogoyf is such a bad draw. Like, fine card in the matchup, but we're just flooding with threats is the last thing we want to do here. We need lands, and we need other things that are... Oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. At least that's a fine... At least that's better than most other creatures we could draw, but I swear this literally always happens to me against blue-white control. Specifically against blue-white control, where we are in business, like, the opponent takes them all, we've got a hand that's fine that can compete and all that, and then we just never draw a third land. That it's blue-white control is the deck where that always happens, and it's such a kiss of death against blue-white, but hey, we're untapping with our Bob. And we're hitting a third land, how about that? So... we attack with Goyf only here. Not playing into Settle. Are they considering a Cryptic tap down? No? Okay. Or maybe they were, but they didn't. Alright, so I don't think we gain much from playing out another just creature to sit on the board, so we'll hold up our Decay and Trophy instead. Here comes a draw 2 from Illumination. Yep. Just hold our cards and get to untap with Bob again, so that's cool. And the land is cool as well. So it's kind of tempting to walk into the Settle here, because then we know we get to resolve our tracker and make 2 clues. And if they don't play the Settle, then... Well, okay, so that's one play. We walk into the Settle, we get, what, like a 4-for-1, all things considered. The alternative is just attack with Tarmogoyf. Now, if we just attack with Goyf, they probably got counter magic. So what would our follow-up play be? Would we still just try to jam the tracker? I think Dark Confidant's good enough that we still just only attack with Goyf here. And we're starting to reach the point where Snapcaster is a thing, so instead of running a tracker into probable counter magic, I'll try a Scooze. But again, this is... okay. I'm content to pass with those cards on the board and with this stuff, all these effects held up. Another draw 2. Okay, well, sure, you got it. Maybe a Planeswalker here. Jace, yep. Okay, Jace is brainstorming, so do we decay, or do we trophy him in a response? I think we let it resolve, and then we're going to end step try to trophy. Go get a Shockland, try to trophy your Jace. That resolves. It looks like they were just F6'd there. Alright. Well, we've got exactly lethal on board. We think we just have to go for that. If they've got opt into Terminus, that's the biggest possible blowout. So does that make us want to just quote-unquote only swing for 10? Or 8, rather. I think it actually does. Like, they just had a Jace activation. I'm going to play scared. So if we missed lethal, that's obviously bad, but this is our upside, is Tracker making 2 clues. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to say. It's possible we were supposed to just go for that. They've got Terminus off the top here. They don't even have that. Okay. Well, we know they still have Settle the Wreckage. Supreme Verdict main deck. Yep, you got it. Do we eat things in response, or do we just crack a clue? Think we're just gonna crack a clue. Thoughtseize is a good draw. Lets us clear the way for Treetop Village and hopefully lethal. Alright, yep. So, yeah, I do like not running our Treetop specifically into Opt Terminus, because leaving the opponent exactly 3 with our Treetop around, and with all of these resource advantages, I really think we are likely to get there, and we did just get there now. So, obviously a little bit debatable in the moment what to do there, and it looks like we would have just won if we just went for it, so I'm not downplaying that, but I think there's at least some reasonable incentives to do as I did there. Now, does our new tech do anything here? We don't care that much about their graveyard. Spellbomb's a way better way to handle it anyway. And Liliana's Triumph's actually kind of interesting, but I think this is more like if you're main decking it, it's kind of fine in the matchup, potentially, but little win more in this particular situation. So we'll probably play 1 Spellbomb, maybe a second one, and we're cutting the usual suspects. We don't like keeping all of our lands in here. We'll cut all Fatal Pushes. And you guys have heard me say recently that Abrupt Decay, you can kind of take it or leave it. In the past, I've sided it out more than I have lately, because lately I've been seeing more things like more Detention Spheres, more Vendilion Clicks, more even cards like Gideon of the Trials. That said, haven't really seen that stuff here, but I think the 1 Abrupt Decay is still probably better than the 3rd Skooz or the Kalitas. So the big question would... But we didn't see graveyard effects either. Like, we didn't even see Search for Azcanta. We didn't see Snapcaster Mage. So I guess we're just running it like this, and potentially going back to make another tweak if there's a Game 3, depending on what we see. So early Treetop Village is I think enough incentive to keep this hand. Obviously it's pretty low on interaction, but I was going to say as long as we don't just flood on lands, but swamp off the top is bad. But yeah, we're leaning hard on the Liliana here. We'll definitely play the Tarmogoyf out. That's a good draw. Leaning hard on the Liliana, and we have the failsafe of Treetop Village, whether or not she resolves, like to pressure a turn 4 Jace, because the big weakness of this hand is just would be the inability to pressure planeswalkers. All right, so deciding whether or not to main phase our Lily. Our Goyf is so small that attacking first to try to draw something out is just not going to work. Like, they're just going to take the one. So, I think we do main phase the Lily if she resolves. Or if she gets countered, either way, she will grow the Goyf here, probably. But she resolves. Sweet. Well, she might not grow the Goyf. Maybe we're both just pitching lands here, but I will still be very happy to see her hit the battlefield. Alright, the Goyf remains a 1-2. Condemn. Okay. You know, there were some reasons not to attack there. Condemn would be one of them. Opponent flashing in a Snapcaster Mage just to pressure Lily might be another. Alright, first we tick up. Make sure we're getting our value in case of Cryptic Command shenanigans. Then we'll Thoughtseize. Because this Thoughtseize is going to have a target pretty much no matter what, despite us taking up first. They got rid of another land, so that doesn't change what happens with a Thoughtseize. Now, unfortunately, if they bounce her, we cannot replay her because we pitched the Tomb, but I still think it's correct to keep our utility lands around. And if they just, like, bounce her, that's not resource advantage either, so kind of fine with me. They might be bouncing her in response, or they might just be countering and drawing here. They're just drawing 2 in response, okay. Sure, so we see Cryptic Command Supreme Verdict. Pretty easy Cryptic here. And another Colonnade is a little scary, actually, but they cannot activate Colonnade next turn. So I guess we just take our window. Yeah, I guess we just take our window for the Treetop. Seems like a kind of obvious decision, but I actually don't think it was, because it's really nice to get our Quagmire down, and it's really nice to not expose our field, right? But either way, I'm happy with the Swamp here, of course, because it's just a free pitch to Lily. And here we most definitely are not attacking. We're going to hold up Field of Ruin to keep our Liliana alive, and we will pass. Opponent ditched their Verdict. That's fine for us in the medium term. If we punish them by immediately drawing a creature, that could be cool. Alright, Nile Spellbomb's our draw. Okay, so I think we're going to start with a Spellbomb to inform our decision. Alright, so we cannot protect our Liliana here from the Colonnade, so I guess we just take our window to triple Stone Rain. How good would a follow-up Liliana here be? But it's not what we have. Opponent's floating in response. That's a good move. So I guess we just put Colonnade, Island over here. Take them off of double white. Alright, we're definitely not out of the woods, but Tracker was a good draw. Okay, so we just try to resolve her. For sure. If she gets countered, that's bad, but she doesn't, so we get to have our cake and eat it too. We get to do everything here. Make a Tracker, make a clue. Attack with the treetop. Condemned. Okay. Better for us if that had been a Path to Exile, right? But okay, now they got Path for Tracker. All right, so they've got the answers. They're staying in it. And we have kind of just a reactive hand right now, which is a little bit bad, but good against their catch-up cards, I suppose. Collective Brutality. Interesting. I think I would rather attack with the Quagmire in this window. There's our best friend Teferi. Well, pretty rough, but we do have the answer. Scooz is a good draw here, too. So, alright, Pulsar Teferi. They will opt. They went top with the opt. Interesting. This could just be another Planeswalker, so I don't think I'm supposed to spot check with Brutality. I think I'm supposed to play the Ooze. Could just as easily be a Snapcaster Mage as anything else, right? They just probably topped a good card. Oh, and it's another opt. Fine. You got it. Really? Another Planeswalker? Okay. Okay. See, this is how it can all go wrong. We run them totally out of resources. They're just ripping Planeswalkers off the top. I mean, there's some good stuff going on still. They don't have white for Colonnade activation or for double white spells. And since they only have 2 mana open, we're pretty safe to eat things on the end step. And there's no creatures to eat. So, and we're out of basics, so, whoops, I think I misclicked. So eating Path there is better than eating Condemn. Treetop Village, huh? I think I'm going to try to attack Jace off the field. Cool. All right, Treetop is nice here as well. Opponent's opting up a storm. They will bottom with that opt. Let's see what they've got now. Another Jace. Okay. Nope, just a main phase hieroglyphic. Sure. Well, they're catching back up. No question about that. And once again, we'll eat away at the yard pretty safely here. Okay, Field of Ruin. Good draw. Good draw. Once more, I'm not sure how high I am on Collective Brutality in this window. I think I kind of like holding up effects better. So, and of course we are attacking with something else here. It's going to be the village. Player field pass. The other thing that's nice about holding up Collective Brutality is it can just realistically finish off the opponent here. If they're holding up counter magic, this really punishes them for that too. So lots of good reasons not to cast the Brutality in that window, even though there are some reasons to do so as well, right? Is this another draw too? It is. You know, that's good, but alright, so opponent could be holding up lots of things here. Let's eat a Condemn. And I think I'm going to eat... Oh, okay. What's this? Pathing the Ooze. Alright. I'm going to eat again. I'm not afraid of Snapcaster Mage. And there's no point in fielding their field because they're just going to field our Treetop in a response anyway. We can't really get around them doing that, but we can play Liliana of the Veil. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. We can kind of do everything if we just don't attack here, which might be the best bet simply because well, the other thing we could do is escalate Brutality here. Yeah, maybe Liliana's just not that good here. Nah, she is, because if they attack her, then they're going to die on the crackback to our stuff. Alright. This might be crazy, but the clock's getting low, and in case this goes to game 3, I kind of have to play fast. So, let's just try draining for 2 with a Collective Brutality, see if that resolves. They'll field our treetop in response. We'll float. Spell snared. All right, interesting. So we're going to play our Lily. We're going to trophy a Colonnade. And then we're going to lose our Lily to the Colonnade, maybe. But... oh, they don't have a Plains to get? Well, that makes life easier. Fulminator Mage. Sure. Take up the Lily. Hope they don't have a Cryptic here. Pathing the Fulminator. We'll kill the Colonnade in response. Fire up Hissing Quagmire. Hit you for 2. Alright, they're on mono blue, so that first Lily all the way back when was really good. So I think I actually am just going to tick up here to play around Cryptic Command. Snapcaster, wow. They don't have a Cryptic in the bin, at least. But they have the draw, too. We're still attacking. Opponent will get more info with their Illumination to see maybe whether they take the block, and they do. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Snapcaster was an amazing draw there. Among their best possible draws. Alright, opponents just got mono blue. I'm going to keep my Lily around, and I'm going to play around Cryptic Command yet again. So as good as Field of Ruin is, we already have one. We don't have more basics to get, so it's kind of just like a bad Ghost Quarter at this point, which I don't think we need. Really interesting game. Really interesting game for sure. They lose a Settle the Wreckage. Another snap. Well, well, well. Look at these draws. Look at these draws. These are some good ones. No question about that. Oh, man. Alright, so this is punishing us for being on this Liliana plan. There's not really much else that could effectively pressure her while being good otherwise, but back-to-back Snapcasters is definitely the case. That fits the bill. Flooded Strand, huh? Hallowed Fountain. There's 2 Hallowed Fountains in the yard. They might not have another one to fetch. Well, Liliana the Last Hope is a heck of a draw. See if she resolves. She does. Okay. Let's take up Veil, see what they do. You could play a few different ways here. You could take up the Last Hope first to kill the Snapcaster. And yeah, we're just worried about Cryptic Command, but they just don't have it. I'm actually just going to kill Snapcaster Mage here. Unless they're holding the Cryptic. Yeah, okay. They don't, they don't have it. I keep worrying that they're going to have Cryptic. They just don't have a Cryptic. But they've had some good stuff. They fetch and fail to find. Wow. Okay, down to 2. They're in Fulminator Mage beat range. That's a thing, right? Marsh Flats. I'm just going to take Lily up again. Okay, we get a path out of their hand. Now it's time to buy back a threat. And all we have is Fulminator, so sure. They are fielding our Blooming Marsh in response. You got it. All right, opponent. Do you have anything? Or did we finally get there? We finally got there. Okay. All right, we got the 2-0 on blue-white. That feels great. So we're beating some tough matchups, but unfortunately we took some L's in the rounds 2 and 3, so we're still fighting to cash the league here in round 5. But it's been a fun league. It's been an interesting league, and yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. Let us play round 5. Been doing well with the die rolls today, but we've lost this one. This is a pretty great hand, though. The opponent has mauled. We'll keep. Down to 5. So we're either against a relatively linear deck or we're against an unlucky opponent. And it would be the former. It is Tron. Tron mauling down to 5. Well, Thoughtseize. Ooh, another Thoughtseize. Good. I like. Yeah, Thoughtseize you. Okay, they have Stirrings and Star and Mine and Tower. Well, next turn they can crack the Mine and make green with a Sphere for Stirring, so I think we have to take that. So I think it's going to have to be turn 2 Tarmogoyf, turn 3 Field of Ruin into Thoughtseize. It's looking like the play anyway. Or maybe just turn 3, well, yeah, I don't know if we're going to have the luxury for turn 3 Lily of the Veil. But either way, I'm not going to expose my Goyf, or my field just yet. So we will fetch. And they have 2 unknowns in hand, so we're just hoping to fade the absolute perfect top decks of Power Plant plus Payoff. Ghost Quarter is their land. All right. We can beat that. So if we want to play it really safe, we could Field of Ruin a Tron land and then Thoughtseize, and I suppose that's what we should do here. This way, even if they have a redundant copy of Tower or whatever, we have still set them back from potential Tron for a turn. But better case scenario and statistically likelier scenario is that they just now have to find 2 more Tron lands to make things happen. Triple Wormcoil Engine in hand, sure. Well, those are some payoffs, but fortunately we have the Liliana to grind them out, hopefully before they get there. And the Goyf to put the clock on. Alright, they made land drop. It's a successful turn for them, but we're on the Liliana plan, so things are looking good. We pitch our last hope here because, number 1, she's not that relevant. And, of course, number 2, she grows the Tarmogoyf. Nice. Nice. Beating Tron comprehensively game 1. Admittedly, they mulled to 5, and our hand was pretty good against them. But, yeah, good times. Good times, good times. So, does our new tech of Ashiok see play here? I think she's going to. Of course, Fulminator Mage, Maelstrom Pulse, Surgical Extraction are kind of our favored cards here, but Ashiok is going to shut down their search effects. And, you know, given our... Basically, the idea about bringing her in here is that given our early disruption lining up, she's pretty good as a static hate piece, or she's decent. If it doesn't line up, then Ashiok won't single-handedly win the game or anything, but we're probably in trouble anyway, so I'm going to go with that. And of course, I think she's kind of borderline in this matchup. I think it will depend on your 75, but what I do against Tron with this deck is pushes come out, Lily the Last Hope comes out, and then these 6 come in. So you've seen me do this before. I'm like either leaving in a Brutality or a Scooz depending on player draw, which is fine. But both cards are pretty underwhelming, so especially Scooz number 3. So now that we have Ashiok, I think we just cut them both player draw and use the Ashiok, at least for testing, see how it plays out for us. I think that is an improvement though. We're shutting down Sylvan Scrying, Expedition Map, Sanctum of Ugin. Maybe something else I'm forgetting, but those are the big 3. We have Ashiok, but we have no... I mean, we have turn... I don't know what to do with this hand. I think it's too clunky. You know, double tracker is already kind of a mull. Let's mulligan. We can do better on 6. That's kind of a tempting one, though. And this is a much better hand. We'll keep this. And we should be either bottoming tracker or land. And I guess it's just land. Guess we're just going to bottom Overgrown Tomb. The way we get punished for that is if we just fail to hit land for 3 straight draw steps and we draw 3 drops that we want to cast on curve. The opponent went down to 4. Good news. Good news for us. Alright. With only 2 cards in hand, I think I should cast the Thoughtseize here instead of the Inquisition. Well, double stirrings doesn't matter, and I'm actually kind of punished for casting Thoughtseize there. You know, we can draw step Surgical Extract Stirrings and just leave them with a completely empty hand. I actually think I'm kind of supposed to do that. Let me think about it here. I'm going to do it. I would be more confident about doing it if I had a 2-drop threat. But yeah, I'm gonna do it. Might be bad. Definitely gonna be fun. and obviously there are some real incentives to doing this. They just have a forest for turn, so We'll get rid of all your stirrings. And we will see precisely how you've sideboarded against us. So they have a forest in hand, and they have 5 total forests. That's good against us. They have 2 Crucible of Worlds. Interesting. Very interesting. Don't see that every day, especially as a 2 of. They brought in 2 claims, 3 relics, 3 Thragtusk, and post side 3 Wormcoil, 1 Ballista, 1 Ulamog. So they trimmed maybe a couple of those things. Alright, well, we'll see how that plays out for us. Obviously, they're still live to eventually hit Tron in some way, shape, or form, but oh, we are rewarded with a Dark Confidant. We really just wanted a turn 2 play here, and now we have it. And the opponent doesn't really seem to have removal in the deck. They just have a Walking Ballista they could find, basically. Well, they got a second Tron land. That's pretty good. We got a Liliana of the Veil. That's pretty good. That's our play. Liliana, pitch Inquisition. Our top decks have been really nice here. Top deck, the opponent just scoops. All right, sweet. Well, that was cool. That was a absolute slaughter of Tron, and we got there. We got there. So some tough losses in the middle of the league here. I think we were pretty unlucky overall against 8-Rack. I think I could have played better against Eldrazi and Taxes, but I don't believe we were winning either of those games anyway. We didn't see the new tech. We didn't see Triumph or Ashiok play a role. But you know what, guys? We beat some Boogeyman decks here. We beat them very comprehensively. We beat Valakut, which is our hardest tiered matchup. And we beat Tron and Blue-White Control both 2-0. So it just goes to show you how much game our archetype does have even against bad matchups. And it also shows you how in some matchups that are more favorable, we can still drop the games, admittedly. So I'll take the 3-2 on my first run out with this deck. I'm never mad about cashing the league, and I don't know that we can draw any conclusions from the new tech from that, because of course we didn't really see it. We didn't have the very best matchups for Triumph, and for Ashiok, we sided her in a few times, but never really managed to play her. So she made appearances, though. We saw Ashiok against Titanshift Game 2 when it was already too late, and of course we saw Ashiok in a hand that we mulliganed. Turns out quite correctly mulliganed against Tron. But nice display from the deck overall. This setup performed well against Blue-White Control. We successfully outground Blue-White Control, which is not easy, and performed very well against Tron. Admittedly, we had some good draws against Tron. They mulliganed pretty hard, but we showed the game against Tron, and we definitely showed we can get there against Valakut. MVP of this league was Liliana of the Veil. How good was she? She won so many matches for us. We won on the back of Liliana, and we lost to an opposing Liliana in the 8-Rack deck. She is really that Liliana at that specific time in Game 3 is what got us. I stand by that. Like, we were in fine shape until the Lily of the Veil showed up, right? So, let's open our chest. Let's open our one chest here. See what the fates yield, and it is a nothing chest. Only 5 play points. Epic proportions. Well, that's exciting. And a Sprite Noble. The kind of pseudo-lord for flying creatures. Okay. Alright. Nothing cool, but a fun league. A fun league, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought, as always, about the sideboarding. I would like to know more about 8-Rack. I don't have experience in the matchup, and it's been a very long time since I've seen it. And with Davriel Rogue Shadow Mage, or whatever the name is, The new Davriel, I expect to see an uptick in 8 rack, at least in the medium term. It's kind of whatever it is, 10 or 11 rack with Davriel now, I think is the idea. But as you can tell, I'm no expert on the archetype, so let me know what you would do, how my sideboarding looked to you in that matchup. That's just another reason I like Engineered Explosives. It didn't end up being that relevant there, because the time we saw it, we didn't need it. But EE on 1 to sweep up all of their rack effects is pretty nice against them. That I do know. And, so on another day, winning that 8 rack match, this could have been a pretty easy 4-1 league. However, we dropped 8 rack. We kind of got wrecked by taxes, and but we pulled out against some good decks as well. So 3-2 on the debut all day. I will take it, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you again to all Patreon supporters, especially the OGs who we're singling out for thanks today. Lots of really intelligent commentary coming from my Patreons, both new and old. You read the YouTube comments, they're a lot higher, there's a lot higher IQ. They're a lot higher level of discourse than the average YouTube channel, that is for sure. And, lots of great discussions going on in Patreon itself, on other forms of communication. So thanks as always, guys. Love to hear from you. And stay tuned to the channel. I think the next video I'm going to do is going to be a draft or a sealed event or something, because I like War of the Spark. I think it's cool. I want to play one of those for you. So look forward to hearing your feedback, and stay tuned to the channel for more gameplay as always. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're not already doing so, to like, share, comment, and consider supporting this content on Patreon. I hope you have a great day. I will talk to you soon.